up, guys? This is your Vincent Valentine EX Turk. I really don't want to do this video, but I have to. You know, right now I'm tired. I came from the gym. I kind of overdid it a little bit. Did 25s, but that's not what's important. What's important is the PlayStation All Access news. PlayStation All Access news that just came out, and let me go find it. It's on my Facebook. I linked it to my Facebook somewhere. Let me go. Okay. Update. Okay. Yes. Alright. Yes. Okay. The question is, will we see a Final Fantasy 15 crossover with Final Fantasy 14? Well, I don't really play 14 because I really can't pay for anything that's, a subscription base, especially since I'm paying for my card and stuff like that. So I can't really tell you about Final Fantasy 14. I try to play it, but it's subscription based. I don't have enough money to play all those months, but so I don't really know. I just know there's already a crossover coming out, or already out right now, and it's okay. Let me go.
It's a promise.
Okay, the crossover. I just wanted to wait till we get into actual gameplay. The crossover is the Crystalis Nova. Yes, there's already is. Now the crossover does not include the rest of the Final Fantasy titles like it did, like it did in Dissidia. This is because that was only a crossover of all the Final Fantasy games. No, this is actually even more than Dissidia. This is called the Crystalis Nova, which, if you don't know, if you don't play enough Final Fantasy to know, it's Final Fantasy 13, the whole series, Final Fantasy Type 0, the whole series, and Final Fantasy 15, the whole series, if they make a trilogy of Final Fantasy 15. It consists of 3 games. 3 games. So I can actually see a crossover now for like 15. I could probably see a crossover of Final Fantasy 13 characters and Final Fantasy Type 0 characters in the Final Fantasy 15 type game. The reason why that is at Type 0 the ULC still exists, just like it does in the original 13. So yes, it does exist. So yes, Crystalis Nova is a true crossover. That's not Dissidia. So it's official canon crossover technically, because it includes Final Fantasy 13, Type 0, and the 15. And I said I was going to do very many 15 videos. I don't know very much about 15 except for like right there. I know for a fact that Lightning's Return, knows where she is.
I become the goddess of death.
Alright. So, yeah, there is actually a crossover already. Gameplay's a little bit loud. I usually am more organized than this. Okay, but yeah, there's already a crossover series, and it consists of the 3 series games that I just talked about. Now, I don't know if we're probably getting now. What I'm saying right here is that we could get like it is in Lightning's Return, and we might get costumes from the old games, like from Final Fantasy 1, 9, 7, 6, and 8. So it is a little bit possible.
This is your grave.
So the possibility does exist that could actually be, a whole entire series. Of crossover, but I think that's the only thing that's going to cross over from, older Final Fantasy games is outfits and, weapons. So we might see a Buster Sword DLC for Final Fantasy 15. That'd be nice. I'd like to see that. You know. So it's possible. It's possible that it might happen, and you know, with the costumes and stuff. But it's not a complete console now. For Final Fantasy 14, I don't know what's going to happen there. We will have to, you know, just start the channel to play Final Fantasy 14 because I really can't, because I can't take subscription-based stuff anymore because I never have the money to do it. So, and call me a broke-ass game if you want. So, but I just think that for 15 to have crossover would be like Lightning's Return. I think it'd be costumes and I think it'd probably be just costumes and weapons, most likely. Or possibly even, you know, soundtrack songs. Like, I could probably see if they do put any, like, let's see, music from Final Fantasy VII, like for 15, they'd probably have a remake. I'd probably see them like having a remake of Genova's theme, you know, into a battle or something like that. Kind of like what 12 did with Final Fantasy VII's regular music, you know, where they have the music, you know, where 12 has done that before. So it might be more than just costumes and, you know, weapons and stuff. It might be a lot more than just those things. So we might be seeing more of that stuff. So I don't really know much about Final Fantasy 14 as much as the other ones, but you know, 15, the only crossovers I can actually see are crossovers like costumes, weapons, and possible soundtrack music. So other than that, I don't know. I mean, will there be a crossover of that? And there's already a crossover saga already. I'm kind of playing one of the games right now, Lightning's Return. You know, like I said, Final Fantasy 13, Type 0, and 15 are actually canon to be a crossover called the Crystalis Nova saga. Because that's the problem with the old Final Fantasy games. The old Final Fantasy games never actually really came together. Besides, the city is the only canon. Okay, the city is the only canon that bought those games together. You know, that bought all the older games together. If you counted the city as canon, I'd personally like to because it makes more sense that, you know, to me. I mean, I like to have the combined universe, but that's just me. But that's just me personally. You know, people are entitled to have what they want. But I think that'd be awesome if they actually made all the games cross over like that. But I don't think that's going to happen, so, what am I saying? Oh, but, you know, they have not done that in the older games, like the PlayStation 1 era, you know, the Super Nintendo era, you know, of Final Fantasy games. I think this is Crystalis Nova. I'd say, because if you don't count the city, in the canon, then I would have to say the first official crossover game would be the Crystalis Nova. The Final Fantasy 13, Type 0, and 15 will be the first official crossover. Now, it is possible. These are games, I'm not talking about games that nobody else has probably played unless you're a deep Final Fantasy fan. The Legend games are, I think, canon. I think they're canon to each other, like Legends 1, Legends 2, Legends 3, all in the original Game Boy, you know, Pocket. So they could be counted as, you know, canon to each other. But I won't say canon to the original game. So, to answer your question, will there be a Final Fantasy 15 or Final Fantasy 14 crossover with 15? That's possible. Now, will there be a Final Fantasy 15 crossover with its own canon, with Crystalis Nova? I think it could be possible. I think it could be possible. Let me know what you think on the comments below. So I gotta go edit this video. Sorry I'm not, talking like I usually do. Like, I'm just like forgetting things right now. I'm just really tired. I just literally just came from the gym. So, but as for us, please subscribe. Please, like, subscribe, and may the crystal be with you guys.